BlockSio without any of these 10 settings could give you horrible FPS and could get to a point where Blocks is unplayable. But today, I'll show you 10 of the best tips and tricks that can make your FPS from this to this. And to prove that all of these 10 tips and tricks work, I will have 4 players, Blueify, Overseer, Photopea, and Stalk, to show before and after with these tricks. By far, the easiest way to boost your FPS is to zoom in. The default zoom is 100%, but zooming out will make your game resolution smaller, and that is what makes your game faster by a ton. And especially if you are on a Chromebook or lagging hard, this will help you a ton. Now I'll demonstrate this. So if you want to zoom in, press Ctrl and plus. To zoom out, press Ctrl and minus. To go back to default, press Ctrl and 0. When I turn my render distance high, it's pretty obvious my FPS drops very low. So the next trick is to turn your render distance down. Disable things like coordinates, not FPS. Now that you have those changed, now reload your game and you should feel a difference. Next is a trick that I use and was the reason why my computer became faster from this to this. So to explain this, since I'm a YouTuber, my videos need to be HD or 1920x1080. And when I started using my laptop, the default resolution was 3000x2000. And the more pixels your screen is loading, the laggier your game will be. So what I did was go into my display settings, and down there it says display resolution. What I did was I changed it from 3000x2000 to 1920x1080. But recently I decided to change to this, 2048x1152, since it meets the 69 ratio of YouTube videos. So if you use Windows, this is a trick for you that'll keep your FPS higher. You know when you play BlockSio, there's an FPS limit. Like for mine, it's 60 frames per second. And why? It's capped at 60 FPS for a reason. My computer's HC or refresh rate is 60, and that's why. But to make sure that you're getting higher FPS that is usable, go to Advanced Display Settings in Windows Settings. And on the bottom, it says refresh rate. Make sure that is at the highest. This will guarantee you have the highest FPS possible on your computer. For some of you guys playing BlockSio, you might not be sure if your computer is actually performing at what it could perform at most. So to make sure you're getting the most out of your power, go to Power Plan, click Advanced Power Settings, and at the bottom, add a window, and a window will appear. Now make sure this is at high performance, not balance. When your computer is at higher performance, it will use more resources, and this is what gives you higher FPS. If you've been playing BlockSio, you might notice lag building up slowly. A reason might be you have not cleared your cache. In order to do this, go to Chrome Settings and go to Privacy and Security. Now press Clear Browsing Data. You don't need the Advanced tab. On the Basic tab, make sure the time range is all time, and make sure you don't clear cookies and other site data. All you need to clear is cache files and images. This is proven to make my game faster by a couple frames in my experience of playing BlockSio. But for this trick, this is just a part of it. Now press Performance on the left bar. Make sure you have Memory Saver and Energy Saver disabled. Those will slow down your game by a ton. Now press Preload Pages and make sure it's extended preloading. This will make your computer use more performance, giving you higher FPS. Next, and obviously, when you are using tons of processes or apps at the same time, your game will lag more than usual. So my tip is to close useless apps and processes. This will make your computer focus on your game instead of all the other processes. Another tip to get insanely high FPS is to have a stable Wi-Fi network, like mine. A stable Wi-Fi network can make your game have higher FPS, and just make sure it's not an unstable or bad Wi-Fi network. A trick you should know is that for Windows, when the C disk or system storage is low, your computer will slow down with it. So let's say you have 100 gigabytes of C disk storage. For a normal person, you should have at least 20% of that available, like aka 20 gigabytes. But if you're like a YouTuber like me, the requirements will go up at least 40% of your C disk storage as available. Having a good amount of C disk storage will make your computer faster by a lot. Now it's a moment you've all been waiting for. Each of the 3 players, Corp, Blueify, Overseer, and Stalk, will compare their befores and afters. And first, let's start with Blueify. Now let's see Overseer's comparison. Now let's see Stalk's before and after. Finally, let's see Corpse before and after. All 4 players have used these tricks, and their FPS improved by a ton. So I hope that's proof that these work pretty well. Overall, these tricks will make your game have higher FPS, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Since I've teach you these tips and tricks, I would highly appreciate it if you subscribe and like this video, and this feedback will help me improve future videos. Anyways, that's it.